Hey, welcome back to Stark Reality Garage. And I have another issue with the MR2. I'm getting a code, P1693, which my lift is not kicking in. So when I went autocrossing, the lift kicked in at the beginning, but by the end the lift wasn't kicking in anymore, and I've reset the code and it still won't kick in. And so I have a feeling that my little screen in the OCV is clogged up. I figured taking out autocrossing stirred things up. I have not done an oil change on the car since I started it. So I'm going to do an oil change today, do the filter and do that OCV and see if we can't get that thing cleaned up and get the lift working again, because this car's a lot more fun when the lift works, I can tell you that much. So oil changes are not terribly exciting, but I'll take you through it anyways, and we'll get that done. All right, so I always open up the oil cap on the top before you do an oil change, and I'd say that you can do an oil change without having to lift the car, because you can reach that 14 millimeter right there with your arm, and then from in front of the wheel you can reach the filter. So I think you don't have to lift this up, which is good. Get a better drain that way. So get this popped open. All right, so got it all drained out of there and filter pulled off, and I will say the oil was a little darker than I expected, so it was a little dirty in there. You know, hasn't had that many miles put on it yet, but obviously I've been driving it maybe a little on the hard side just for fun. So an oil change probably a good thing. So we'll get that done. New filter, 5W30. It takes 4.5 quarts. So we'll get that done, and we'll pull apart this mechanism that does the lift and get that little filter. I have a feeling that that thing's clogged up, so we'll try it all out. All right, I went to the store and picked up oil and stuff and a new filter, and the easy thing is to lay down on the floor right here and then reach under in front of this passenger side tire. You can reach right into the filter and screw that on, which makes it really easy. I could jam the camera under there, but there's no need to do that. So pretty easy to do, and then I can start pulling this thing apart. All right, so it's just 3 screws and 2 nuts. There's 2 posts that it mounts on. The one is in the back, it's kind of hard to get to, but the others are pretty straightforward. They're 10 millimeter. Little extension makes it much easier to get in there. Pull it apart, get the gasket in there and stuff. So here's the filter. Fortunately, it is not really clogged. So I'm going to clean it anyways, and we'll see how it goes, and I'll have to look at it a little bit closer, see if anything else stands out as being a problem, but this does not seem to be the big issue. We'll see. Alright, so I got that thing cleaned out. Did clean up a little bit and put back in there, and I will see a lot more oil drained out of that thing while I had it open than I expected, so it's kind of a mess everywhere. So got it all put back together again. I'm going to check all these connections, make sure they're tight. Now I'm going to clean them all off, make sure the oil's off them since it went everywhere. And I guess we'll test it and see how it does. All right, so I put things back together again. By the way, I took these vent hoses off. It's a heck of a lot easier to get to it. So it's all clean in there. I cleaned it all out. It looks good. This is a new oil pressure sensor switch, something like that. Originally, when I had a little problem with the lift, I swapped one out from the onesies, and it worked great. Then started getting a little more issues, so I bought this one. This is the real absolute one from Toyota that you should have on here. They say there's differences between them, hard to say. The only thing left will be this oil control valve here in the back that could be having an issue. I haven't swapped that out, but maybe that'll be next. All my connections seem good, so fill this thing back up with oil, put it back together, take it for a quick spin, see what happens. So hopefully cleaning it out, although it didn't seem that dirty, we'll take care of it. We'll see. All right, so I just went on a test drive. Tops down, beautiful day out today, and it was interesting. At first, I cleared the code and got it out, got it warmed up. You got to have it at temperature for lift to work. Got it out on a spot where I could get it to kick in. It almost wanted to. You could hear it, the tone change just a little bit on the exhaust, and then it went away and code came back. So I got down to a spot where I could park, stopped, took a look at all my readings on my OBD2 reader, cleared it, came back, got it into lift again. It sputtered a little bit and then it cleaned up, and then I was able to go again. So now the lift kicks in no problem, and no codes. So it must have been a little clogged. Something must have been going on in there, that little mechanism, but it all seems fine now. So lift's back. It's all cleaned up. I will say it sounds a little quieter with the nice synthetic oil I put in. That oil was a lot darker than I would have expected after I've maybe 500 miles on it or something. So, but got all the old junk cleaned out of there from the engine sitting around before I put it in. So happy about the way it's running right now. I'm very excited about that. So we can move on to some other performance things and keep having some fun with it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time.